Texas Math Mundo audience, are we in store for a treat today? In the house is several key members of the Pasadena High School math team, and we're going to talk about our experience hosting a UIL/TMSCA number sense, calculator, math, and science tournament. So let me go ahead and go around the room and have them introduce themselves. They'll state their name, their grade level, their role in the club, and what roles they played in our tournament. Ale.
Well, my name is Alejandra Gaytan. I was a runner in the tournament, and I'm the parliamentarian for the group.
All right, Ale, thank you for being here. Justin.
My name is Justin Doblado. And I'm a member of the math team at Pasadena High School, and I was the lead in the tab room.
All right, Julian.
My name is Julian Navarro. I am a senior, and I was a runner and proctor at the tournament.
All right, Napoleon.
I'm Napoleon Leung. I'm a sophomore. I did registration table in the tab room, and I'm an officer surgeon at arms.
All right, and Jonathan.
I'm Jonathan Hernandez, a sophomore and member from the Pasadena High math team, and I was a runner for the tournament.
All right, great. So my name is Saul Cantu. I've been doing this for well over 25 years, and so I wanted to make a video about our experience hosting a math tournament. So why would we host a math tournament? It's about making money. We got to have money so the school can do fun stuff. You know, when I went to the administration and I asked them if they could help out the club, you know, they came back at me with the F word, fundraising. Are you with me? So I was like, oh no, they came at me with the F word, fundraising. Anyways, so here we go. I want to talk about when I first entered this gig. I remember Region 3 in the early 2000s, there was a golden era in tournaments. Every week, it seems, there was a TMSCA-style tournament that we could go to. I was at Hightower, and at Hightower, I met Ermini Menard and Jonathan Trent, and they taught me everything I know about running a math team and also hosting a tournament. So all of this knowledge that we're going to pass to you, if you wish to learn about our experience hosting a tournament and use it if you choose to host a tournament, came from Ermini Menard and Jonathan Trent. I was a young pup back in those days. They took me under their wing, and they taught me everything I know. But back in those days, there were so many people I learned from. I remember the first tournament of the year was at Bridge City under Faye Parrish. I remember Dolores Maceres. She used to host like 2 tournaments at Beaumont Westbrook. Ken Walker was at Sweeney. Josie Mallory was at Klein. She used to host like 2 tournaments at Klein a year. At Elkins, there was Lizanne Ward, William Corrington. At Humble, there was Louis Mascello, and countless more. So it seems like every week there was an opportunity for local kids to go, for teams to go and have a platform to showcase their skills and have fun. And so that's the second reason you want to host a tournament. First is to make money, and second is to give the local area kids an opportunity to go, a platform to showcase their skills. So it's a win-win. Your club makes money, and local area kids get a chance to demonstrate their skills and have a good time doing a STEM event on the weekend. Let me ask my team members here, because I'm going to get plenty of input from them, because they were the key members here. They had key positions and key roles. Without them participating and being responsible, it doesn't happen. So what were your initial overall thoughts about our tournament we hosted? We hosted the last weekend of October 2024 last time. Ale, what did you think about our tournament?
It was very busy.
Now, were you stressed?
Scuffed. Very scuffed, yeah.
Justin, from your perspective, how was our tournament?
I didn't get to see much of it, so there was a lot of people on the registration table, so that was like the most contact I had with like the whole actual tournament.
Because otherwise you were buried in the tab room.
Yeah, I was in the tab room like most of the time.
All right.
I didn't get to see a lot of people except for the graders and coaches and stuff.
Yeah. Julian, your initial thoughts, what was your overall impression of our tournament?
Very busy. I was constantly moving, constantly talking to people. At times it was a headache.
Napoleon.
I thought it was really fun. The registration table, there was a lot of people and a lot of money, so that made me happy. And then the tab room, it was actually pretty chill. Like I felt like the tournament was light until the end. Like
And
me and Justin were just chilling in the tab room most of the time.
I saw a good work ethic from you two, though. So y'all got that tab
Yeah.
room done very efficiently. I really appreciate that. And Jonathan, what was your perspective?
What was my first tournament hosting anyway? I was a little worried at first, but after we started, I think it went a lot smoother than I was hoping. So I felt pretty good about it. I mean, everyone did their roles pretty well, and I think it went pretty smoothly.
All right, good, 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 good. Of course, we did have a few mistakes, and I'll expand on those in a little bit. But when you first decide to host a tournament, so we have the before the tournament, the during the tournament, and after the tournament phase. Before the tournament, you got to set the date because you got to reserve the building. You got to make sure they're going to turn on the AC that day, and you have access to all the necessary parts of the building. You got to buy the trophies. The trophies is probably the most expensive part. Or you might want to give medals, but you got to figure out how you're going to reward the winners. You're going to decide what type of tournament you're going to have. Are you going to have TMSCA rules? Are you going to have UIL rules or some sort of hybrid sort of format? You need to secure volunteers because you got to have bodies in those rooms proctoring the exam. You got to assign the roles to everybody so everybody's familiar with their roles. Maybe do some trial runs. You got to email the staff, make sure they know that to secure their things. It can be kind of difficult because everybody, including me sometimes, thinks my room is my home. And when people come in there and use it, you get kind of sensitive sometimes. So got to make sure you give people plenty of warning that they're going to do it. Also, you got to advertise. Advertise. So make sure you put that tournament up on the TMSCA website. Make sure you put it up on the UIL website. And then we had an email campaign. I remember back in the early 2000s, before email was really, really going strong, we sent out actual letters at Hightower. When I was at Hightower, we sent out actual letters to surrounding schools. But now with email, you can have quicker, more convenient, cheaper outreach. How many days do we spend emailing, President Julian?
2 weeks.
Yeah, we spent like a couple of weeks in the summer. I assigned everybody some schools or
Yeah,
districts.
I remember we spent about 2 weeks, but Ale still went into the school year all the way up to like a week before the tournament, still emailing people.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. To get as broad. And what you really want to do is you want to see who's hosted a tournament and see if you can get their contact list because those are high priorities because those are schools who are actually active and go to tournaments. So if you can get an active list of active school people, active coaches, and active teams, those would be a big priority. All right, let me see if I'm missing anything here. All right, I do want to say before we get started, there are manuals out there on how to run a tournament. I know on the UIL website, there's the Saberian tournament manual. I think, if I remember correctly, Fay Parish and Bridge City had a manual for hosting a tournament. So there are manuals out there that you should probably refer to. If anybody knows a manual, or please put it down on the comments below because I know a lot of coaches would like to read up on how to host a tournament so they can make money for their teams, so their teams can do cool things. So I do know that there are manuals out there. And of course, you can always reach out to me. I'll help you out to the best of my ability. I know it's a daunting task. It's a daunting task to host a tournament. There's a lot of moving parts, and it can be a little bit stressful. All right? Let's see. Oh, okay. Before the tournament, Julian, I want you to talk to this. President Julian. Room setup. Tell me what's involved in room setup.
All right, so prior to the tournament, that whole week we're all prepping, meaning we're having somebody stand at printer 24/7 to print out all them tests because you got to have an idea of how many rooms you're gonna need, therefore how many tests. So let's say we have 7 rooms, right? And we need 30 tests per room. Well, someone has to stand at that printer to print out all those tests. And also you got to rearrange them because you don't want people sitting in a group because there's less space you can use in the room. So we spend the day before. So the tournament was on a Saturday. That Friday night, we spent rearranging all those
oh,
rooms.
it's Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon. We spent the whole time rearranging those rooms and taking pictures of them so that any teachers who's like, no, I like my room this way, it can be moved back to exactly how it was before. And it's not that it's very hard, it's just very time consuming.
We were we were lucky this time though, wasn't it? Like right after testing, so most of the
Yes.
rooms were already in
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah, that saved us so much time that at the SAT and all that was taking was during that week because the year prior there was no testing that week. It was every single room pretty much was in groups, and we had to move everything.
But that last year there were also less rooms, so
Yeah. So obviously, the smaller tournament you have, less rooms you got to move, and it's a good thing to have a bigger tournament because then it's more. Although it's more time, it's also more money for your school.
Yes. And also, like a lot of teachers like to have their desk in groups, but we can't have that for the tournament. So you got to go in there and put them in straight rows, facing the same way. Take a picture so that when after the tournament, you can go rearrange it back to the way it was. Because teachers can be very sensitive about their rooms.
Yo,
Cool. How about the signs, Ale? How much of a venture were the signs?
It was a lot of work because it was like one of three people doing them, and I did most of the work because no one knows how to write in bubble letters apparently. Somehow.
So what kind of
Uh,
signs did you make?
I just made a lot of signs that are like cafeteria this way with an arrow pointing towards it, or like enter to through this way because we have a bus ramp in front of the school. It's just kind of hard for people to tell where to go through.
So lots of signs to control traffic flow. So that people
Yeah.
walk in, they'll know where to go, what to do, and they won't be lost. Mm-hmm. All right, all right. So that's a lot of stuff before the tournament. So during the tournament, registration table. Who was in the registration table?
Me and
that was
Justin.
me and Napoleon.
Napoleon and Justin. I know I got in trouble because we were giving cash refunds for people who didn't have. I like to stay flexible. I know as a coach, when you go to a tournament, some kids like they don't show up or they fell asleep or for some reason things happen at the last moment, and so you're going to be paying for tests that you're not taking. As a host, I like to try to not charge you for those, but the administration got on my butt for giving cash refunds from the cash that we had. So next year I can't do that. What'll happen is you'll come if you have a check, just take it back, write us an IOU, and send us a check for the proper amount, or go ahead and donate that extra money to us if you want. But I got in trouble for that. So tell me about that registration table. Was it stressful, Napoleon?
At first, or I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Yes, it wasn't really that stressful until like a lot of people started coming, and when I'm pretty sure the box for the money got stuck at one point.
You couldn't open it?
Well,
Yeah.
at first we couldn't open it, and then we had to play around with. Well, not play around, but we had to open it. And then I think I was closing it after every customer at first, but then there was a line, so I couldn't. So I had to keep it open so that I wouldn't have to open the box every single time.
And of course, I had an adult there, David Severin, with you all
Yeah.
to make sure that you all don't hijack the money and run off.
We were looking for y'all one time for a check because we needed one of y'all to sign it. We couldn't find y'all.
Yeah.
Oh my
couldn't-
God.
Yeah.
Oops, that was my fault. Hey, who ran hospitality?
I think that was
It's like a combination.
Hennessy. Yeah, it was Hennessy and Ashley, I think.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
I think so.
Yeah.
So that's another thing you should consider. So it's the small details that make people want to come back to your tournament. Do you like to have a hospitality room if you can? Hospitality so that the bus drivers can the coaches can have some refreshments, and it makes their day go by quicker and easier. Also, that previous night, Julian, we set up the library, right? All the
Yeah.
grading tables. We set up the tab room. We have a whole checklist we go through. But we do. There's a lot of work on set up the previous night. But
Yeah,
the hospitality room. Go ahead.
that night prior I remember we counted all the tests and we checked the copy quality of all those tests.
Yeah.
Set up the tab room, set up all the rooms, put up some signs beforehand, and it just generally got everything ready for that morning of.
All right, all right. And the hospitality room is a nice little thing. So because you're gonna have people volunteer to grade, and those graders are necessary when you have a big tournament. You need the coaches to grade in the grading room. I do set up a lead grader this year. Mr. Sonny Coca, who works on the west side with Beckendorf Middle School and others, he was generously took the lead in the middle school grading room. Mr. Don Kirby, he was the lead grader in the high school room. It's nice to have those lead graders with experience who can help the new graders learn how to score. and also direct the grading room along as you get new tests and stuff like that. So cool. And then if you want to offer computer science written, that's an awkward time. So I had to do that separate with a couple of guys I trust. Who did computer science written?
That would be me, Ale, and then Carlos, who's not here.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all have to like go on it independent while we're in the tab room working. That's like because computer science is a major part of STEM. So how did that go?
All right. Well, for comp sci, it didn't run perfectly because nothing does run perfectly in a tournament. Because Carlos, who was the other guy who helped out, he lost our test for like a good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're going crazy here talking about where's our test? And then we see Carlos come down the hall and we ask him, and he's like, "What? We have comp sci tests?" After that week, we were telling him, yes, we were going to help proctor comp sci. So then he runs down the hall, and we're just me and Mr. Cantu are just standing there like, well, why did he just run off on us? And he comes back with this box of all of our tests. And he's like, oh, I was just going to take the box. So we were standing there like, you're taking a box? Anyways, we get our test, and then since we have science going on, and science is about 2-hour test for the high school side, so we sent Ale and Carlos into 2 rooms of proctor for that test, because it's a 45-minute test. And I had to wait on everybody else. I think it was 3 or 4 people taking science, because if you signed up for comp sci, we want you to take comp sci. We don't want to be like, no, it's too late, you can't take it now. So I had to wait for a late room, and then I started the time. I think we ended around 2:30ish for those 4 people.
Exactly, because it's an awkwardness because you got 2 whole hours for science, but you want to get the meat done and over with as soon as possible. But there's some kids who are really good at science who are going to take that computer science, so you have to like make sure you have that late room. Absolutely. All right, who are the runners? Jonathan, you are a runner.
Yep.
And Julian, you were the lead runner for high school and middle school.
Yes.
Jonathan, tell us about your experience with running. What does a runner do?
Runners most of the time man paperwork. So like we're moving tests, extra hand paper, like papers to proctors so that they can distribute the tests, and also retrieving all the tests so we can take them back to the grading room for grading. But we also manage some smaller things if students lose calculators or need extra materials, or if the proctors need to step out, we'll be stepping in for them temporarily. It's a lot of small minor things that we also take care of.
And you're a face in the hallway should there be an emergency. Did that pop up at all, Julian?
An emergency? Yes and no. Okay, so we had a lot of proctors pick their heads out and said, they're missing tests. So here we go running down to the library trying to get some last minute tests. And then we come back, they're like, oh no, the copies were just together. And that happened so many times in the tournament. You just wouldn't believe it. I don't even know the number. Over 20 easily.
What was the issue with the test?
That they were together. The tests were together.
Okay.
And they would say they didn't have enough copies. So we're having to run down now and then come back.
Okay. So, but the thing is, you're the face. If a proctor starts to panic or is unsure about something, they can stick their head out there. You're visible and you can answer questions. And another key thing that we do at our tournament is everybody had a walkie on them. Well, the key people had a walkie on them, so you can contact me at a moment's notice. So there was a walkie in the tab room, correct?
Yes.
There is a walkie in the runners. There's a walkie with the script reader. Oh, so the script, we try to do our tournament on the PA system. That way all the rooms have the same directions given at the same time simultaneously. They start simultaneously. The script reader, Hanelli, that's a big part of the tournament because there's the most mission critical failure points in that script. If she messes up, the whole tournament goes awry. So I always give the script to a very trustworthy student. Hanelli had a last minute dentist appointment today, so she couldn't join us. But she was a big role. The script reader is a big role. How about the tab room? Napoleon and Justin, did you already talk about the tab room? Anything else you want to say?
Not really.
Go ahead, talk about the tab room for us.
Do you want to start, Napoleon?
What do you do? What is the tab room about? What are you doing in there?
We're organizing the graded tests that come to us, and we're doing like the ranking sheets. We're doing like like who won in like individuals, who got the first place in teams, and then we're also doing like packets for each team, and we're putting like extra tests, their scores, like the student scores and stuff into their packet, so that at the end they can grab it and go.
Absolutely. You're doing the ranking sheets. You're writing the awards announcements. You're organizing everything, and that's critical because you don't want to lose a paper. You don't want to lose a paper. You don't want to do calculations wrong. So I always try to put a third person in there to do backup calculations, because if you do one calculation wrong without somebody behind you, then some team doesn't get the appropriate award. So who is doing the backup calculations?
I don't know.
That was awful.
It was
I think
Adolfo,
it
I
was
think.
Adolfo.
Yeah. So, but you all try to do it good. But I want to always try to make sure to put a backup, guys, so that every calculation happens twice, because mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. Was it stressful, Napoleon?
It wasn't that stressful, except like I think near the end of it, everyone was coming in the tab room and trying to do stuff, and I'm pretty sure it got to the point where we forgot the comp sci ribbon, so we had to mail them out. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, we did. I have.
But other than that, it was like really like relaxed. Like we had a lot of downtime for the tab room.
And then there's the awards announcement. The awards announcement. That was Hanelli, who was also the script reader. But we go into the cafeteria and we do the awards announcement. And I felt so bad the previous year because Hanelli kept on saying, instead of Dory Middle School was there, she would say Door. Door Middle School. So you got to try, and to her credit, it's very hard to pronounce some of these winners' names. You know what I'm saying? And then we have people at the table. Who was helping distribute the trophies? Was anybody there helping to distribute? Was that?
This year, I think it was Carlos.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so they read it and you distribute the trophies. Every once in a while, a trophy gets handed to the wrong person. That can be a headache. You got to be careful about that, and reading the awards. And then after all that, the stress is kind of relieved, but it's cleanup time. And Ale, who is on cleanup duty?
Everyone.
Everybody's on cleanup duty. And what does that involve, Julian?
Putting all the rooms back, cleaning up the tab room, fixing everything in the library, and honestly picking everything up, making sure everything was the way it was before we even got there.
Yes. We actually hired a custodian for that day, and it's so well worth the money because you need the restrooms cleaned and everything's clean. So having a custodian is also a very important part of the journey. All right. And for me, I have to collect the money and organize it. And then, in the weeks to come, you get the IOUs come in. You got to check up on that. You got to make sure that all the money is accounted for. The bookkeeper gave me a hard time. The district had to give me a hard time because you got to make sure all the cents match up. All the money you brought in matches up. All the receipts, all the registration forms. So there's a lot of cleanup to do when it comes to the money also to settle your accounts. And then it's the small things that matter. Napoleon, what was the final touch? Do you remember?
The thank you note?
Yes. You hit it right on the nail. Thank you notes. We all do handwritten notes to each of the volunteers as a token of our appreciation, because without them, it doesn't happen. And it's the small things that mean something. It's the small things that make a difference. Without the volunteers manning the rooms and in the grading room, without those, it doesn't happen. So we try to write thank you notes to all the staff and all the parents and a lot of the ex-team. What I love is ex-team members have come back to help us out, and so we try to give them a token of our appreciation, to write them a nice note. That's the least we can do for all the help that they give us. And finally, after all, you got to handle the mess ups. So there's sometimes mess ups that happen. Like, I know we lost a couple of tests. I forgot this middle school in Beaumont. I felt so bad. Things are going to happen. Worst case scenario, if they're displeased, you just give them a refund. Give them a refund. Things happen. Sorry, we lost your paper. Here's your money back. But he didn't request it. They had a good time. It was not a big deal. I remember the previous year, we didn't give out the second place team trophies in number sense calculator math. I just thought, I forgot to order them, I thought. But then I found them in a box later. So there I went. I drove to like 3 schools. Thank God they're all here on the east side next to us. I drove to 3 schools afterwards to hand them their second place team trophies, just because we forgot to put them out on the table and distribute them. So you're always going to have mess ups. Ideally, there'll be minor trivial mess ups. Things happen. And so I know when I go to a tournament, if there's ever small minor mess ups, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to sweat it. I know how stressful it is. I know how tough it is. And by and large, all the kids have a good time anyways. So yes, you got to clean up the mess ups, Clean up the mess ups. Report the results online if you can. And make sure everybody gets a clean copy on the results back, clean copy of the test, all their tests back, and enjoy the money you've made, So, have I forgotten anything, guys?
I mean, I do have a quick tip.
Yes.
Make sure that your like leader or whoever is calm throughout the whole thing, or their subordinates is gonna feel the same stress like tenfold if they look like they're stressing out like a lot.
Absolutely. With all this heat, it's easy to get dismayed. So let's run around one last time. I want to get a final thought. And I also, to close it out, go ahead and tell me why you enjoy the math team at Pasadena High School. So, final thought. Any thoughts on the tournament and your role in the tournament? And as a final thought, why do you enjoy the math team at Pasadena High School? Alejandra.
Okay, so I was a runner that you never mentioned. You forced me to do science and letters, and that was a lot of work. That I did not get credited for. But the math team's pretty cool. We go to a lot of places. We have a lot of fun. We have like our yearly San Antonio trip. Really good. Very helps us build our bonds as a team. You could say. That's really it.
Ale, I'm gonna edit out anything unflattering you say about me, right? Anything
so
unflattering.
You're just gonna edit out the whole segment.
I'm gonna edit out anything unflattering. I'm gonna actually maybe even do some animation with you saying how spectacular I am. I might do
There's
that.
gonna be like you're gonna cut out the audio. It's just gonna be voiceover.
I'm gonna voice over. Yes, I'm gonna voice over Alex saying.
It's just gonna be like my lips not syncing up to the words.
You're the
it's gonna
greatest.
be really funny.
Whose voice coming at Alex?
Good stuff. How about you, Justin? Final thoughts? Why do you like being part of the math team?
I don't really have anything else for the tournament. Just like things happen, so you just have to adapt. And for why I like the math team, probably because of the close bonds we have with each other, like in the whole math team, not even just like the students, but like even like the sponsors and like everyone apart in the math team.
Well, thank you. Good stuff. Julian.
I think the last thing I have to say about the tournament is communication's key. You got to be able to communicate. You can't shut down. And the math team, I think what I like most about the math team is, same as Justin, that we're all close knit together, and then we can all joke around like the way we are during this Zoom.
Great comment about the communication. We all have our walkies, man. I'm yelling, talk to each other on the walkies if there's any issues, like stuff like that. Yes, absolutely. Good stuff. Good comment, Mr. President. Napoleon.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty chill, and I just enjoyed that. Like, we're like one of the first tournaments to be hosted, so it's like a lot of these kids' first tournament this year, and I just find that enjoyable. And for the math team, like, I also like how it's a whole family, but the competitiveness of it and like the improvement of getting better at math, where like over the years you get to see how you improve. Awesome. I really enjoy that.
Absolutely. All right, Jonathan.
I was gonna say, for me, I think one thing that could have helped, especially us, is have like a little bit more of a thorough rehearsal. Just because, like, especially if it's your first time doing a tournament, you might like not be quite prepared. But overall, it was a great tournament, and I just like enjoyed everyone in their element, especially some of the stronger schools. And as for why I like the math team, I mean, just how we communicate within like the whole club and how we can compete and to try to make each other like better overall.
Awesome comment. Hey, I have to mention one more thing, because I know John Cliff McCurdy, the director of UIL Mathematics, often listens to these videos. How did it feel to have your names on the test on the UIL A release this week? Were you surprised or were you surprised?
Oh man, I were tripping out. It was just
Oh,
really
yeah.
we were going through. Yeah, we were going through it. We seen like number 4, and we're like, hold up, that's
Yeah.
us.
No,
Like I hadn't
remember-
realized it until like the end, and then I just see Can2 and I get jump scared.
No, I saw it in like the first page, and like Mr. Cantu, like, oh, Cantu, you know, he's popular in the math,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
math world, you know, math UIL, whatever.
And you see like all of our team
yeah, and
members.
then,
And they
then
somehow
I see,
misspelled Napoleon's name. They
Napoleon,
misspelled his name.
Julian, Hanelli, Carlos.
Carlos.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, wait a minute, this isn't right.
And they somehow misspelled Napoleon's name. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then I think the funniest part is Napoleon and Carlos. They put them on the same question, but they put Napoleon being faster than Carlos.
Bro, I'm a better driver. What can I say?
Oh my god, going against race stereotypes. It's crazy.
And then, because then Carlos is the only one with a car.
He's not a good driver though, so
I
it
was saying
checks
that
out.
because then if you look up the scores, you see Napoleon beats Carlos.
Hey, that's great. I just want to make a shout out to Director McCurdy because it was very entertaining for our group. It's always fun. It's always entertaining to see your name in the problems. So the UILA release 2025, that's going to be our test forever. And I really love those little input of our names. It made it very enjoyable and fun. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate your insight. I appreciate your devotion to the team. And without you, it's less fun for me. So having you all guys up there, being part of this family, making it happen, I really appreciate it. All right, guys, let's find out. Hey, for anybody listening, Texas Math Mundo, like, comment, subscribe, man. If you like this content, like, comment, right, Ale? Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much.
Watch the video 3 times
He's gonna
over.
blur all
We
of
need
this.
the
He's gonna
money.
blur all of
Yes,
this.
watch it 3 times, make a comment. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys, farewell, farewell, farewell.
Bye, guys.